Well, this is what happens when your cam swap turns into a disaster. Oh boy. Where's my flashlight at? There it is. Man, this engine ran great, and it really shouldn't have. I tore it down, put a new Comp Cam's XE262H cam in it. Decided to do the head gasket since they're 56 years old as well. Turns out they're a steel shim head gasket, which is kind of weird, but they had a Ford part number on them. I get this all cleaned up and I decide to rotate the engine and I find this. I mean, these are deeper than the Marianas Trench themselves. The piston and the rings were fine. I thought maybe it broke a ring or part of a piston, but that was fine. So it must have just got dirt in here during a spark plug change or something. But the rest of the cylinders look pretty good. Still have cross hatching. The cylinder heads, I pressure washed the cylinder heads here, and I'm blowing the heads dry with compressed air. And I get the air nozzle up in the intake ports, and I see water blowing past every single intake valve. That's not really a surprise. Well, it kind of was. Didn't run like it had any valves leaking, but all 8 intake valves leaked. And machine shops, they all want like $12.50 to completely go through those heads. And some guy on eBay the other night posted up a set of these same heads that have been all redone that never got used on a project, and I got them for pretty much half price, so I'm going that way with the heads. And the rod bearings, I mean, these are tri-metal bearings, and they are all pure copper. I don't know how this thing had good oil pressure. I don't know how it didn't knock. I mean, this thing had 45-50 psi oil pressure on a cold idle and 30 to 35 warm, and driving was like 40-ish. It should have had about 5. Crankshaft, it needs a regrind. The main journal is actually grooved. I can feel it. It's worn that much. This thing is a bucket of shit. And this oil pan is funny. Someone looks like they tried jacking the car up by the oil pan at one point, so it's bashed in. Glad I don't have to clean that. And main bearings, they were down to the middle layer. And nothing really surprising there. So much for this being a 58,000 original mile car. I thought that was a load of crap when I bought it anyways. It's definitely 158. The car is too nice a shape for 258. I rebuilt the transmission. It looked about like a 158,000 mile trans, so not really surprised. Car's been down the road, obviously. Factory multicolored firewall. That's kind of odd. I'm thinking about just leaving that there because it's a factory mistake. Kind of weird. I'm gonna pressure wash all. I might paint some of this stuff up, but the firewall's original paint's pretty good. This is dirty. I'll probably paint this up. But yeah, what a effing disaster. Oh well, it'll be better when it's done anyways. It sucks because I just rebuilt this transmission like 3 months ago and put all this new stuff on. Now it comes right back off. See, these are 250 horse, 4-barrel, 352 pistons. They're flat top. They don't have any dishes or reliefs in them. 9.3 to 1 compression. I'm going to talk to my machine shop because the crank needs a regrind and these probably need refinished or refurbished, the rods. I'm going to see if he has any 390 inventory, like 390 cranking rods, and just put the money into that because it needs bored anyways. Bore at 50 over. 390 crank rods, pistons, make it 10 to 1 compression. But if not, no big deal. It'll live on as a 352 again. Great. Oh, man. Engine wasn't too dirty. The This thing had a toilet paper oil filter on it for God knows how long, probably 40 years-ish. It's kind of grungy in the pan, but not bad. In the original owner's manual, the original owner had this car for like 30 years, and apparently he was an oil change fanatic, because every oil change was like 2,500 miles. That's probably why it's in as good a shape as it is. The old camshaft that came out looked fantastic. I'll make a lamp out of this thing. Got a new water pump. I've noticed this. I brush painted this with Rust-Oleum out of a paint can. I painted the water pump on my truck like this 3 years ago. Still looks like the day I did it. And it seems like brush painting cast porous material holds up a lot better than spray painting it for some reason. And I have a new this generator works, but I have a brand new one, and that was a new starter. I'll just keep this as a good rebuildable core. Yeah, this is my disaster for January 2021. Great.